question is to the acting premier. Earlier this morning, my colleagues and I sat through the Justice Committee with the Auditor General, while the member from Mississauga-Streetsville decided that he would question the integrity and the professionalism of the Auditor General and her findings. In that committee, the Auditor confirmed your decisions surrounding the power plants and the cancellation were favourable to TCE and not to the taxpayer, that political interference from the Premier's office to make TCE whole hamstrung the OPA and cost us more money, that the OPA said that Napanee was not a good replacement location, and as a result of that, your government spent an extra $513 million for the relocation of the power plant in GTA. We also know that the government has known since December of 2010 that the number was far greater than $33 million. You've proven inept. Will you resign?
Thank you. Be seated, please. Thank you. Deputy Premier.
Well, thank you, Speaker. And as has been repeated many times in this House, the Premier is the one who wrote to the Auditor General to examine the Oakville relocation. We thank the Auditor and we accept her findings. Speaker, I think as has been said repeatedly in this House, this was a decision of this party, also the PC party, also the NDP party. It was something in which we had found common ground, Speaker. This was a plant that had to be relocated. I have to tell you, Speaker, as you know, the Auditor General has credited the Premier for taking action. She said, I had the opportunity to meet with the Premier. It was good to hear that they're taking the report seriously and that they're taking actions and changing the way things are going to be done in the future.
Thank you. Supplementary.
That was a pretty good Richard Nixon impression, Speaker, but I can tell you something. The Auditor General earlier today confirmed that there was political interference by this government, not by the Progressive Conservative Party, not by the New Democrats, but by the Liberal Party of Ontario and the Liberal Party of Ontario alone. Your Premier was the campaign chair of the last election. She signed the document that handed over all of the bargaining rights to TCE to make them quote-unquote whole. Okay, that is quite significant, and it proves that the auditor also would say that the cost taxpayers ended up having had nothing more to do but then your own political future. She said that had you cited those plants somewhere else in the GTA, you would have saved the taxpayers $513 million.
Question.
She also said if we had waited it out, it would have cost us nothing at all. My question, again for this Deputy Premier, will she resign?
Thank you. Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you. Deputy.
Well, the answer to that question is no, but I can tell you what we will do, and that is that we will fix the system so this does not happen again, Speaker. There is widespread agreement that the original siting was not appropriate. That's why we're improving the siting of large energy infrastructure projects by implementing the recommendations of the OPA and the IESO. Communities will have a say right from the beginning, Speaker. We will get the deciding decisions right from the start, so this will not happen again, Speaker. We're also introducing new rules that are limiting political staff involvement in commercial third-party transactions. I believe, Speaker, that the staff in the then Premier's office acted in good faith.
Answer.
Are acting on lessons learned, Speaker.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
If ever there was proof it's time to change the team that leads this province, it was that answer, Speaker. It is that answer that proves that Tim Hudak and the Ontario Progressive Conservatives should assume this government, because we wouldn't have done what they did. They created the OPA to remove political interference from energy decisions, and then they ignored the OPA. It was the OPA who told your government it wasn't the appropriate location to go to Napanee. You ignored them. You cost us $513 million more. You knew if you did nothing, if you let it wait out, we wouldn't have had to pay one red cent. We have have a motion of want of confidence on the order paper. I am asking you today, Premier, Deputy Premier, will you call that for a confidence vote? Will you allow members of this Assembly to debate that? And will you allow us to vote against this government and make sure that we can have an election for the people of Ontario?
Thank you. Deputy Premier.
Well, Speaker, I think it might be time for a walk down memory lane. I think the member opposite needs to be reminded of their record when it comes to energy. They might remember the attempt to privatize Ontario One, Speaker. That led to a $19.5 billion debt charge. Ontarians are still paying off to this day. Speaker, they might remember that their failed privatization caused electricity prices to rise a whopping 30% in debt. 30% increase in 30 weeks, Speaker. In 30 weeks, electricity prices went up 30% under their watch, Speaker. They artificially capped prices, and that resulted in a $1 billion additional figure being tacked on to the stranded debt. Speaker,
Bad timing. Member from Renfrew will come to order. And the government members, when an answer is being given, I need to hear it as well. Wrap up, please. And the member does not help himself either. Now he's been told.
Speaker, and if that's not bad enough, they more than doubled the use of dirty coal.
Thank you. New question. The member from Cambridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Education Minister.